Hello, my name is Paul Martell, and I'm a 30-year Simsbury resident and a West Hartford business owner. I'm also the founder of a humanitarian foundation in Ecuador called FIBUSPAM. What I would like to do in this time is to introduce you to our organization and explain what we do, to show you a brief video of our work and the people that we serve in Ecuador, and then invite you to a gala fundraiser to be held in Hartford on March 7th. By way of opening, you might agree that it seems like we have more than our share of inhumanity and cruelty in the news in our world today. We see it every day. But at the same time, there are thousands of organizations around the world doing miraculous humanitarian work for needy children, adults, and communities. Relieving suffering, not causing it. Healing people, not hurting them. FIBUSPAM is one of those organizations. I have been traveling to Central and South America for over 15 years with various surgical groups providing surgical care for the poor in Ecuador, Colombia, Paraguay, and Guatemala. 3 times from 2005 to 2007, I worked high up in the Ecuadorian Andes in a small city called Riobamba. In 2007, I decided to put some roots down in Riobamba to open my own clinic and try to change things in a more permanent way. My clinic was born in the balcony of a local church in 2007, where we treated over 5,000 children in 2 years. We soon ran out of room, and our dreams began to grow. I soon bought my own property and built my own one-story facility with exam rooms, a dental clinic, a lab, and a pharmacy. Dreaming yet again in 2010 and 2011, we constructed and fully equipped a second floor to establish our own complete surgical wing. This wing has 2 operating rooms, a recovery room, and 6 patient beds. Over the last several years, we have provided free medical care to over 25,000 children and adults. Last year alone, we performed over 200 eye surgeries, treating cataracts, pterygium, and strabismus cases in both children and adults. Many people ask me, why Riobamba? Why is the need so great there? Riobamba and its larger province, Chimborazo, is an area of great poverty, an area where 70% of the population is indigenous and subject to significant discrimination and hatred. The majority of families have little or no access to health care, and children and adults with serious illnesses or deformities are left on their own to either survive or suffer and perish. A striking statistic is that 25% of the population of Ecuador, that's over 4 million people, has now fled the country, leaving broken families and abandoned children. The majority of this emigration is from Chimborazo province, where FIBUSPAM is located. Children especially are at great risk in this area. Physical and sexual abuse, malnutrition, child labor, and sexual trafficking, a lack of education, and little or no access to health care are a few of the striking problems. This is why we work there. FIBUSPAM is an Ecuadorian foundation that I and many partners formed to address these problems. We do this in 4 ways. First, by offering a broad array of free medical and surgical services at our own clinic. Second, by organizing what we call caravanas, where we bring the clinic to remote communities as far away as the Amazon, to children and adults that have no hope of ever seeing a doctor. Third, by hosting teams of foreign physicians who wish to work in Ecuador. Fourth, by organizing social service projects in the community. Many of you are familiar with the Renbrook School in West Hartford. FIBUSPAM has partnered with Renbrook Summer Adventure and its director, Margaret Ayers, for 4 years, hosting teams of students who travel to Riobamba under the leadership of John Hurd to do very significant community projects and assist on our caravanas. These trips have been very meaningful for these students. In Chimborazo province, FIBUSPAM provides hope to a large population of people who have no access to care. One recent story will illustrate the conditions we face and the ways we are able to help. This story is about a child named Sonia Chavez, a 12-year-old child from a part of Ecuador, a city called Cuenca. And it illustrates many of the elements of the society in which we work and how we try to help. As I mentioned before, I have many friends in Ecuador over the many years that I've been working there. And one of them is a woman by the name of Marlisa Garcia. And Marlisa works for an organization called INFA, which is a National Child and Family Service organization. She works in the area of child trafficking, child labor, and sexual trafficking. And like I often do, I get emails from my friends in Ecuador. And one day I got an email from Marlisa saying that she had found a child outside of Cuenca who was working in a camal. And a camal in Ecuador is a slaughterhouse. And Sonia's parents, she's 12 years old, were making her work at night in a slaughterhouse to make money for the family. And of course, this is against international law. So Marlisa rescued Sonia and was able to work with the family to have them stop. But in her email, she says to me, "Hey, Paul, this child we discovered has a microtia." And a microtia is a medical condition, a deformity, where the outside of the ear, and sometimes the inside, but usually the outside of the ear never forms, and the child will have just a small flap of skin. This can be repaired. And Marlisa says to me, "Do you think you could help her?" Well, you know, how can you say no to a story like that? And so I said, sure, I think we can help her. And as I said, we have a number of connections throughout Ecuador, and I have a good friend by the name of Miguel Tenorio, who's a plastic surgeon in Guayaquil. I asked Miguel if he would come up to Riobamba to help Sonia, and he said he would. And over a period of 2 years, Sonia received 2 surgical procedures, fairly complex, free of charge, to help to rebuild her outer ear. It was a very gratifying case for us and a perfect example of the environment in which we work and the kind of help that we like to provide. And all of this care was, of course, free to Sonia and her family, who don't have any money for anything. So, as you can see, this is what we're trying to accomplish. We've brought sight to many adults and even children blind with cataracts. Because of the closeness to the sun, even children have congenital cataracts. We have repaired lips and palates for many children and helped get care for children and adults disfigured in various ways and doomed to suffering. We are changing lives nearly every day. What I'd like to do now is to share with you a short video which will tell you more about our work and the spirit in which we serve others. Chimborazo province, where FIBUSPAM is located, is an area of extreme poverty, and the children who live here are at great risk. Malnutrition, abuse, abandonment, and child labor are common here, and for these children, access to doctors or even the most basic health care is limited or non-existent. 70% of the population of this province is indigenous. They are Purwa, descendants of the Incas. For centuries, they have endured hatred, discrimination, and racism. They have been powerless and have endured great poverty. They have been ignored in hospitals and abused in schools. For many of these families, there has been nowhere to go for medical care until now. No me digan que los médicos se fueron. No me digan que no tienen anestesia. No me digan que el alcohol se lo bebieron. Y que el hilo de coser fue bordado en un mantel. No me digan que las pinzas se perdieron. Que el estetoscopio está de fiesta. Que los rayos X se fundieron. Y que el suero ya se usó para endulzar el café. Ecuador's public hospitals often have old, broken equipment, a lack of medical supplies and medicines, and a severe shortage of qualified physicians. Coupled with severe poverty and no ability to pay, and many people are left without hope of ever receiving care. In Chimborazo province, FIBUSPAM is changing that. No me digan que los médicos se fueron. No me digan que no tienen anestesia. No me digan que el alcohol se lo bebieron. Y que el hilo de coser fue bordado en un mantel. No me digan que las pinzas se perdieron. Que el estetoscopio está de fiesta. Que los rayos X se fundieron. Y que el suero ya se usó para endulzar el café. As you can well imagine, operating a small hospital is not cheap. For many years, I was able to support the organization with my own resources. As the clinic has grown, we now rely a great deal on contributions to do our work. If you would like to support our work, please visit our website at www.fibuspam.org. where you can make an online tax-deductible contribution. That's www.FIBUSPAM.org. Better yet, and more fun, you can come to a gala fundraising event that we will hold on Saturday, March 7th at 7 o'clock at the Society Room of Hartford in downtown Hartford. The event will feature 4 delicious and creative dessert stations, specialty coffees and teas, live music, comedy and dancing, a silent auction, and presentations about FIBUSPAM. Tickets are $75 and can be purchased also at the same website, FIBUSPAM.org. Please consider coming to our event, which promises to be great fun for a good cause. Again, tickets are $75, and to purchase them you can visit www.FIBUSPAM.org. Thank you so much for your interest in our organization and for supporting our work.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.